Born just 2 weeks after his father was elected president, John F. Kennedy Jr. spent his young years in the White House and led a life in the public eye. He is the subject of a new exhibit at the John F. Kennedy Hyannis Museum. That exhibit opened on June 17, 2019, with a special ceremony held at the museum.
We knew that we were approaching the 20th anniversary of the passing of John F. Kennedy Jr. and thought that visitors would be very interested in learning more about him.
The museum exhibit here, it's in some ways captivating because it brings you right back to the days and the remembrances, and for myself in many ways being a part of the fun and so forth that the Kennedys had here on the Cape.
On July 16, 1999, the plane Kennedy Jr. was piloting went down in the waters off Martha's Vineyard. In the days following the tragic accident, reporters and mourners flocked to Cape Cod. The museum served as a hub for those looking for information and comfort.
It was kind of bedlam. Throughout, Hyannis Port was just backed bumper to bumper with meter trucks from all over the country and a few from outside of the country. Reporters and, onlookers, it just went on and on. And here at the museum, we were so proud, really, that we had a place that people could go to. We let people come in at no cost. We felt it was important to give people a place to connect with him, to mourn, to pay their respects, and they did it by the thousands.
20 years later, the museum's exhibit gives visitors a look inside John F. Kennedy Jr.'s life, here on the Cape and all over the world. Rarely seen photographs including a young John in the White House playing on Cape Cod, his wedding to Carolyn Bessette. Copies of his magazine, George, and other artifacts tell a story of a short life well spent.
It's important for our visitors to see that there was so much depth to him. Yes, he was so handsome. Yes, he was, had an incredible fame. But he also did so many good works. He cared so much about especially people with disabilities and people that had experienced hardships. And he gave of himself, his time, his talent, and committed himself to many of the programs that he developed and that he became involved in. And then the development of George. George was a big deal to him, and it was quite the magazine. And he wrote editorials every issue. He did a lot of the interviews, and he, of course, attracted some of the biggest celebrities and political celebrities in the world. Those are stories that we want to share. We want people to know that he was quite the man.
He lived up to the mantra of his father, that each of us can make a difference and all of us must try. And it must be said that to the degree that a purpose of life is to live a life of love and purpose, the love that he gave to his family and they gave back, that's an important legacy.
The fact is that when we look at the legacy, the details of this exhibit will certainly send some of those important family, Cape Cod love, and world recognition in a very subtle way, and one that isn't portrayed in a sense of bravado, but just really being where they wanted to be.
And if you want to look and remember the happy times and the rest, you focus on one picture, the grief-stricken nation that the salute to his fallen father, and as a 3-year-old, that evokes a whole different kind of memory. But that's the beauty of this exhibit. And, in many ways, the joys and triumphs are very much a part of the Kennedy legacy, and the tragedies, of course, of an important part of that story as well.
Cape Cod remembers JFK Jr. is on display now at the JFK Hyannis Museum. In Hyannis, for Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Colvin.